in the obsequious. She could help dispatch an ineffectual politician to an early professional death. Who remembers Thomas Dewey today as anything but the groom on the wedding cake? The hundreds of gatherings she hosted played their part in the smooth workings of the American government. Alice collected Republicans and Democrats, hawks and doves, people with and people lacking society's approbation. Talk flowed freely around her. Connections were made, deals struck. For 5 decades, the Longworth home was ground zero for serious socializing among politicians and those who sought to influence them. Her salon bridged the two worlds of Washington, society and politics. Alice Longworth ignored the junior league and women's clubs. She had no need of them. Leaders of the free world came to her dinner table. They came because she was a politician, never elected, always involved. The Oxford English Dictionary defines politician as one versed in the theory or science of government and the art of governing. Alice Longworth read political philosophy and avidly followed the course of legislation and foreign affairs. Her patriotism and her partisanship burned like twin flames at the center of her philosophy. She cared deeply about the preservation of the United States and never took its continuation for granted. She grew up knowing Civil War veterans, lived through 2 epic world wars, and faced the Cold War with trepidation and resolve. Alice Longworth expected to be disappointed by elected officials, but she never lost her love for the political game. She had a cheerful countenance, and that sometimes disguised her habit of looking on the world with what she called detached malevolence. She laughed easily and often, finding humanity wryly funny in its capricious and frequently self-destructive march. She was personally shy, just one reason she never sought elected office. Alice brooked weakness from no one, least of all herself. She was a mother, a grandmother, an important aunt for younger Roosevelts. And, in the same way that Eleanor Roosevelt had a platform because of her husband's position, Alice was the eldest daughter of a charismatic president, the wife of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the sister of the Assistant Secretary of the Navy, and the lover of the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee during the heady interwar years when foreign policy was debated fiercely across the nation. But it wasn't simply her name or her connections that made Alice a celebrity and a power broker. Pulitzer Prize-winning author Paul Horgan believed her spirited character, her civilized gaiety, and her all-out convictions made her a figure of political consequence, one of the first American women to achieve this position. It also took her intellect. She was widely considered the most brilliant of her siblings. Even Eleanor, who had no reason to love her cousin, admitted that Alice had an extraordinary mind. Like all Roosevelts, Alice had wide-ranging interests. An autodidact with a lifelong passion for knowledge, she taught herself Greek at age 80. Filling her bookshelves were tomes historical, philosophical, literary, and scientific. Theories of evolution were a particular interest. She retained a fascination for subjects that had grabbed her as a girl: Romany culture, fairies, poetry. In common with all her clan, Alice could and did quote quite liberally great passages from Alexander Pope, William Shakespeare, Rudyard Kipling, Charles Lamb, Niccolo Machiavelli, Sir Thomas Browne, and others. And the amount and type of poetry she cherished and recited from memory was staggering, from Ogden Nash's limericks to G.K. Chesterton's Lepanto. Alice Longworth's extensive library contained battered and marked copies of anthologies such as the Oxford Book of English Verse, Burton Stevenson's Home Book of Verse, the modern library edition of Anthology of Famous European and American Poetry, and volumes from poets like E.A. Robinson, Ezra Pound, and Alfred Austin, usually inscribed to her by the authors. Alice and her brother Ted co-edited a volume of poetry. She loved words and word games. Dog-eared and annotated in her angular handwriting were Brewer's Dictionary of Phrase and Fable, the Oxford Book of Green Verse in Translation, and Aesop's Book of Fables.